Alright, welcome to Azure Practice Mode. This is a review for Azure AZ900 exam certification. Okay. Alright, first question. I'm on the 14th question
900
now.
exam certification.
So your company
Okay.
is organizing
Alright, first
after
question.
acquiring a new
Actually, I'm on the
company. Both of
4900
your
exam
company and the new company
certification.
have
So
their
your
own
company
Azure
is organizing
Active
first
Directory
after acquiring a new
tenants.
company. Both of your
We need
company
to
and the
determine
new
what
company
happens
have
when
their
you
own
transfer the
Azure
billing ownership
organizing
Active
of a
Directory
subscription
subscription
a new
from an
company.
account
Both of
in
your
your
company
Azure
and
AD
the new
tenant
company
to
have
an
their
account
own Azure
in another
organizing
Azure AD
of a
tenant and
subscription
associate the subscription with
from
the
an
new
account in your Azure AD
directory.
tenant to an account
Which one is
in
this one
another
first?
Azure AD tenant and associate
Hmm.
the subscription with the new
Nagre-reorganize
account
yung
in your
company
Azure AD tenant to an
kasi may
account
bagong
in
company.
another Azure AD
May
tenant
nabiling
and
bago.
associate the subscription
So, yung company na nabili, meron ding Azure AD tenants. You need to determine what happens when you transfer the billing ownership of a subscription from an account in your Azure AD. So, ikaw na magbabayad ng ano nila, Azure AD nila. Okay. Associated subscription. Each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true. Otherwise, no. All users and groups with role-based access to manage a subscription lose their access. Hindi ko alam. Role-based access, Azure. Okay, what is Azure role-based access? And it's gathers critical functions and organization cloud. Sure, it's help you manage who has access and sure. So, pag nalipat ba ang AD ownership, all other users and groups with role-based access manage the subscription lose their access. Mawawalan ba ng access yung mga naka-role base, mga naka-RBAC sa Azure AD na i-absorb ng company? Users assigned. So, yun ang hanapin natin. Which is wala dito. How Azure RBAC determines if a user has access to the resource? Medyo mahirap ah. There you go. Transfer an Azure subscription to different Azure AD directory. Organization must have Azure subscriptions. Each subscription is associated with a particular Azure Active Directory. To make management easier, you might want to transfer subscription to a different Azure AD directory. When you transfer a subscription to a different Azure AD directory, some resources are not transferred to the target directory. For example, all role assignments and custom roles in Azure Role-Based Access Control are permanently deleted. Okay. Hiya. So, they will lose their access. Deleted eh. Hmm. Yes. System assigned managed identities are re-enabled automatically. Moving a subscription that owns Azure Kubernetes Service cluster causes the cluster to lose functionality. Kubernetes ano to eh. Usually mga Linux machines to eh. Yung Linux, naka-base talaga to sa user ano. Eh. Pati yung mga functionality nila eh. Tuloy natin to. Baka may malaman tayong clue. From the resource directory and are not transferred to the target directory. The article describes the basic steps you can follow to transfer subscription. If you want to instead block the transfer subscriptions, blah 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 blah. Okay, ulit, ulit, pwede. Hmm. Control F, system. There you. Oh, system assigned manage identities. Impacted. So, impacted. And then you must create role assignments. Pero, you must disable and re-enable the manage identities. I-enable, re-enable lang. You cannot transfer your AKS cluster sorted. Impacted. Ano ba isa? Recoverable. Yes, yes. Recoverable. Ito, no. Azure manage this. Kubernetes service. You cannot transfer AKS Azure Kubernetes service cluster and its associated resources to a different directory format. So parang no tayo dun. Okay, pero sa system, recoverable. Pero pagdating dito sa Kubernetes, no. So parang no. Palagay ko no. Hula ko no. Dito, yes. Ay, all users lose their access. Yes. System assignments are enabled automatically. No. I-enable and, ano eh. Disable and enable daw. Sabi dito. Ulit. Hmm? Saan ba yun? System assigned manage identities. You must disable and renable you, no? So, hindi siya matic. System manage identities. No, no yan. Moving a subscription that owns an Azure Kubernetes service, AKS. Causes the cross groups. Yes. Yes, not recoverable daw, sabi. To Azure AKS. You cannot transfer. So, yun yun. Yun yun. Yan natin. Show answer. Tama ba ang sagot ko? Ulitin ko, all users and groups with role-based access to manage a subscription lose their access. Yes. Mga naka-RBAC, lose their access. Non-recoverable, sabi. Kailangan mong i-assign ulit. System assigned managed identities are enabled automatically. No, kasi nakalagay doon sa ating notes from Microsoft Docs. Kailangan i-enable at re-enable. Moving a subscription that owns AKS, lose functionality. Yes, yes. Kasi masyadong user-based tong ano eh, Kubernetes. Show answer. Oh my goodness. Tama ako. Tama lahat, pre. IQ 1000, pre. When you transfer, explanation, no? When you transfer billing ownership of a subscription from an account in your Azure AD tenant to an account in another Azure AD tenant, you are not required to associate the subscription with a new directory. If you choose to associate the subscription with a new directory, this results in several changes. All users and groups with role-based access to manage a subscription lose their access. Okay, so all users and groups with role-based access with RBAC, mawawalan lahat sila ng ano, access. Doon sa AD na nilipat mo, na inabsorb ng iyong company, mawawalan sila ng access, ng lose their access. This also applies to any other service principals. RBAC assignments do not carry over. Do not carry over when you associate the subscription with a new tenant. Classic subscription administrators such as service administrators and co-administrators will also lose access. The only user initially able to manage resources in a subscription is the user account that accepts the transfer. The only user initially able to... okay, sino yung nag-manage yung transfer? Malamang, Matic na yung ano niya, access niya. Na magkakaroon siya ng access sa kinuha niya. Yung nagmamanage ng AD. Kung ano man yung nalipat. A system assigned managed identities are not re-enabled automatically. It must be re-enabled after the transfer. Para nga naman sa configuration ng nakakuha ng ano, ng bagong Azure AD, siya yung mag-configure, siya yung magde-decide kung i-enable niya yung mga na-absorb na system assigned managed identities. Okay? So, based lang to sa kakaintindi ko, guys. Kung meron kayong corrections, ano, comment nyo lang. Okay? Pero, ano, subscribe din. Okay, thank you. Moving a subscription that owns an Azure Kubernetes service cluster causes the cluster to lose functionality. This is due to lost service principal rights and lost role assignments. So, ito nga, Kubernetes. Ano yun eh? Unix-based yan, alam ko eh. Yan yung parang ano eh, VMware para sa mga Linux machines. Yun nga, ayawan ko yung, ano yan? Alam ko yan yung nag-handle ng container. Oo, mga container, mga Docker. Ha? Okay, so next na tayo. Next, to complete the statement in the answer area, select the appropriate option from the drop-down menu. An Azure as initiative. Madali lang i-google to pa. Azure as initiative. Okay. Azure Policy Initiative Definition Structure. Policy Initiative. Parang parehas lang yun, ano? Policy meaning. Core principle of action adopted proposed by government. Initiative. Initiative meaning. It says initiating substantive. Di sila parehas. Parang ito yung ano, parang initiative niya. Yung policy initiative, yung mga kailangan sundin. Yun na yun. Sorry guys. Initiatives enable you to group several related policy definitions to simplify assignments and management because you work with group as a single item. For example, you can group related tagging policy. So ito yon. Azure Policy Initiative. Meron siyang policy initiative definition and it contains display name, description, metadata, parameters, policy definitions, policy groups. Hindi ko alam yung metadata pre, pero parang yan yung sa database. Okay. Data. Data from the word. Parameters. Yung parameters yung mga settings, configurations. Oh, di ba? Yan yun, alam ko. Policy definitions. Ayan, yung mga policies. Definition of policies. Basic. Okay, so the following example illustrates how to create an initiative for handling two tags, cost center, product name. It uses two built-in policies to apply the default tag value. Okay, ganito pala mga ano, JSON, ano? JSON. Parang ganito rin sa Ansible eh. Properties, display name, policy type, custom. Yan, yan. Yan. Console base. So, value cost center. Hindi ko pa alam, hindi pa maalam si JSON. So, nabasa na natin yung ito, no? Try natin kung masasagot na natin yan. Select your answer. Provides model used by Azure Resource Manager to display large numbers of identical resources. Parang hindi. Policy. Policy ba yan? Collection of Azure policies. Baka ito na yun. Toward reaching a single overall goal. Let you implement detailed granular. Let you implement. Integrates with Azure Advisor best practices. Best practices. Malamang ito yung mga steps to do something. Hindi yung policy. Instructions yun. Implement details. Lagay ko ito yun. Policy, yan na yun, no? Keyword. Bukan natin. Show answer. Ay, tama na naman. Pre. Talaga. Alright, an Azure initiative is a collection of Azure policies targeted toward reaching a single overall goal. This simplifies managing and assigning policy decisions by grouping a set of policies in a single item. The initiative can be assigned to a scope and applied to all resources contained in that scope. An Azure initiative does not provide a model that is used by Azure Resource Manager to deploy large numbers of identical resources. This describes a resource manager template, which contains resource and resource group definitions. Wait, o yan, hindi siya nagpo-provide ng model. Parang, or ano, ang nagpo-provide ng model ng policies ay ito, si resource manager template. Na yun naman ang sinusunod ni Azure Resource Manager. Okay? So, an Azure initiative does not let you implement detailed granular resource access controls, which is yun yung isa sa mga option kanina eh. Does not let you implement. Okay, so detailed resource. This is done by assigning role-based controls to users, groups, and policies. So, policy, ano siya? Sinusunod mo lang siya. Hindi siya nag-a-assign. Siya lang yung mga policies, parang basehan ng policies na sinusunod ng system. Pero hindi siya nag-a-assign or hindi siya nag-uutos. Siya yung listahan ng sinusunod mo, pero hindi siya nag-a-assign ng roles. Sa'yo, okay. Tama ba? Tragis. An Azure initiative does not integrate with Azure Advisor to provide best practices for optimization. Azure Advisor integrates with Microsoft Defender for Cloud to provide a consolidated view of recommendations for all Azure resources. It can help you improve cost effectiveness, performance, high availability, and security of Azure resources. So, iba ang best practices sa policies. Yun na yun. Alright, next. Your company plans to migrate applications and services to the cloud. You recommend for a hybrid cloud to be deployed. Why would you make this recommendation? Okay, so meron tayong company na gusto mag-migrate ng applications and services sa cloud. Ewan ko, ano yung gusto nilang ilipat. It's either yung application or yung front end o yung kanilang database back end. Hindi ako sure kung ano gusto nilang ilipat sa cloud. Pero usually, ang nililipat dun is yung front end. Kasi merong scalability eh. Ba? Meron ding elasticity. Okay. So, I mean, you recommend for a hybrid cloud to be deployed. So, nirecommend mo, hybrid tayo. Why would you make this recommendation? O bakit hybrid yung binigay mo? Pwede namang public, no? Okay, yung mga answers ay to augment on-premises resources by providing overflow capacity. Para naman lumakas yung iyong on-premise resources para kung may mag-overflow, meron siyang capacity kasi nga sa cloud, 'di ba? Scalability, no? To consolidate all cloud resources in a single data center. Ha? On a single data center? X to, pre. Kasi hindi pwedeng isa yung data center mo sa hybrid. Meron kang sariling data center at meron pang data center sa ano, provider mo. Kohan. To eliminate the need for company-managed compute resources. Eliminate the need of company. Kalokohan yan. Hybrid nga eh. Hybrid nga eh. Sabihin, may company managed ka rin at may cloud managed ka pa din. Hindi mo pwedeng alisin to kasi hybrid. Kalahati sa'yo. Ba't gagalit? To ensure that charges are only incurred, incurred, basta alam nyo na yan, when cloud resources are utilized. To ensure that charges are only incurred when cloud users. Pwede to, no? Charges are only incurred when cloud. Hindi, may mga charges din sa ano mo eh, on-premise mo eh. Kuryente. Di ba? Yung, may compute din yun. No? So, may charge pa rin yun. Hindi pwedeng cloud lang. Palagay ko ito, pinakamalapit. To augment, parang palakihin. Diba, breast augmentation, di ba? Mas lalaki. No? Yung resources ng on-premise mo. Kasi meron overflow capacity kapag cloud. Okay? Let's see. Show answer. Oh, tragis. Galing ko talaga. Explanation. By implementing a hybrid cloud, your company can augment on-premise resources by providing overflow capacity. A hybrid cloud is a combination of two or more cloud models, such as public and private, and provides benefits from both models. It can give businesses the flexibility to use public cloud resources when they need them, while also keeping sensitive data and applications on premises in a private cloud. A hybrid cloud can also help organizations manage peaks and valleys in traffic more efficiently. By using a hybrid cloud model, businesses do not have to over-provision computing resources in anticipation of high demand. They can simply bring resources to the shopping cloud when they need them. Oh, Shopee. All right. Okay, so tayo natapos. Kalimutan ko na. Um, Implementing a hybrid cloud will not allow your company to consolidate all cloud resources in a single data center. Ito yung sinasabi ko. So this describes a public or a private cloud, either of which could support this requirement. Meron kang public data center, meron kang private data center. Yung public, I mean yung sa ano, sa Azure. Private sa'yo. So dalawa data center. Implementing a hybrid cloud will not allow your company to ensure that charges are only incurred, Niemas, when cloud resources are utilized. This is more, gigil ako dun incurred.
Incur.
Incurred. Okay, parehas mali. Incurred. Okay, so ulit, implementing a hybrid cloud will not allow your company to ensure that charges are only incurred when cloud resources are utilized. This more accurately describes a public cloud, where resource elasticity allows storage and compute to be allocated on demand. This allows you to pay only the resources you need when you need them. Ba? Implementing a hybrid cloud will not allow your company to eliminate the need for company managed compute resources. All cloud models will require your company to manage some aspect of compute resources. Hybrid nga eh, 'di ba? If it's hybrid, there's still some resources that you manage. Okay, not all will be managed by Azure. If all are managed by Azure, then that is considered as a public cloud. Like everything and everything is on the cloud. Okay. All right, next. Oh, wala pang mali ah. Okay. You need to ensure consistent performance for users who access your application, which runs on customized Linux virtual machines. Ensure consistent performance for users. Hula tayo. Functions. Hmm. Dedicated host. Skill set. Pwedeng availability zones. Alam ko parang ano to eh. Parang geographic to eh. Alamin natin. Tolerant to local failures. So, parang ano siya. Parang ano. Location. Location availability. Ganun. Wait, text si Mrs. Bahala sa mga dinaanan namin. Buti kinain na iba. Okay. Saan na ba tayo? Sorry, nag-text si Mrs. ko. Alright. Okay, game. Alright, so next question. You need to ensure consistent performance for users who access your application which runs on customized Linux virtual machines. What should you use to provision virtual machines automatically? Availability zones, dedicated hosts, functions, skill sets. Okay, ano, alin kaya dyan yung sagot? Hindi ko alam. Pwedeng ito or ito. Alam ko ito, geographic ito eh. Hey Google, hey Google, hey Google, what is availability zones in Azure? High availability to. Eh dapat ang sinasabi is consistent performance. Okay? What is dedicated hosts in Azure? Workloads. Pwede si dedicated hosts. Hey Google, what is skill sets in Azure? Hey Google, hey Google, what is skill sets in Azure? Scale set, hindi skill set. Nakakang mindset. What is scale set? Tang bingi. Ayoko na. Ang kwento. Azure scale sets. Scale, hindi skill. Pero palagay ko dedicated host na yun eh. What are the virtual machine skills? Create, manage group load, balance VMs. Number of VMs in the system can automatically increase or decrease the response to demand. It's performance of for users who access your application. Skill sets yata, pre, scalability. Customize Linux virtual machines. Linux, sa pangklo yun, Linux, no? Uh, ano yun? Dedicated host. To your organization and workloads. Capacity isn't shared with other customers. So, parang internal lang tong ano, dedicated host. Kaya nga eh, dedicated. Eh, customers eh, users who access your application. Ito yan, scalability. What should you use to provision virtual? Ang po-provision ka ng virtual machine eh. Create, manage. Helps you create or manage. Itong workload, ito pang create and manage. Question is, what you use to provision? Ito yon pre. Final answer, skill sets. Bahala na. Oh, tama. Wala pa akong mali. You should use skill sets to provision virtual machines automatically. An Azure Virtual Machine skill set is a group of identical auto-scaling virtual machines in the Azure cloud. Virtual machine scale sets allow you to easily deploy and manage a large number of virtual machines as a single unit, making them ideal for scalable workloads like web servers, application servers, and batch processing jobs. You can create your own virtual machine scale sets from scratch or use pre-configured ones from the Azure Marketplace. You should not use functions to provision virtual machines automatically. Azure Functions is an example of serverless computing that allows a subscriber to submit their application code to a cloud service provider, pagod na, CSP, such as Azure. Azure provisions and maintains the servers and infrastructure required to run the application. This includes code backups, high availability features, and auto-scaling to meet increased workloads. So, going back on this one, functions, it is serverless computing. So, meaning serverless, there's no server, and you will not manage or provision a server. Kasi nga serverless eh. Anyways. Okay, next. You should not use availability zones to provision virtual machines automatically. Cloud service providers, CSPs, use availability zones to distribute compute, storage, and networking resources geographically. Okay? Anong sabihin nun? Availability zones. Ito, ano siya? Para siyang ano, pang geographical availability, hindi yung for performance. As in, ito, ensure consistent performance. Ito, consistent na availability ito. Okay? O mag-down yung isa, up pa rin. Yung kabila. Load balancing, parang ganun. Okay? So, hindi siya about performance. Okay? About physical ano yan. Keme. You should not use dedicated hosts to provision virtual machines automatically. Azure dedicated hosts are physical servers that you lease from Microsoft. You get exclusive use of the server hardware and all the resources on it, including CPU, memory, storage, and networking. This type of hosting is best for applications with high performance or compliance requirements that cannot be met by Azure's public cloud infrastructure. Dedicated host. Palagay ko ano 'to, para 'tong mga bare metal 'to na naka-assign sa'yo. Kung talagang heavy yung needs ng application mo at hindi ma-meet ng Azure's public cloud infra, kailangan mo isang dedicated host or parang sariling bare metal server na mas powerful na kayang i-host kung ano man yung application mo or services mo. Okay? Again, pag may mali ako, i-comment nyo lang. Okay? And then, do something about it. Kasi, I'm just, ano to eh, learn streaming to. So, it's on my opinion lang. Eh, kung mas maraming years kayong sysadmin, malamang marami akong mali. Eh, ako, magpa 5 years pa lang. Alright, next. So, scale sets. Again, you need to ensure consistent performance for users to access your application which runs on customized Linux virtual machines. What should you use to provision virtual machines automatically? So to provision, hindi siya performance. Ang usapan dito, performance, hindi siya availability. And which runs on customized virtual machines, hindi siya dedicated host. Kasi ito ano for users to access your application. Dedicated host for internal users lang yan. Pero yung mga users na gumagamit ng application mo, malamang customers yan. So, hindi ito. Okay? Functions, serverless computing. Basta functions equals serverless computing. So, hindi ka magpo-provision dyan ng virtual machines kasi sir nga, serverless, kamakulit. So, ito, skill sets tayo. Okay? Scaling. Based from the word scale, scalability. Okay? Para sa mga gumagamit na customer. No, hindi siya maiipit sa isang server lang, natihina na kasi nagagamit na yung memory nito, ng CPU nito, ihina na yan. So, kailangan scalability. May isa pang server, no? Load balance, pre, ganun. So, scale sets. Okay? Alright, next. Hindi, pakinggan ko muna yung recording ko. So, okay, mag-part 2 na lang tayo mamaya, no? Ko alam kung gumagana yung mic ko eh. So, alright, see you on the next review. Bye. Ay, nga pala, please subscribe.